What if I told you? Your dog doesn't sleep next to you because it's warm. Not because your bed is comfortable, but because you are the safest place it knows when it's about to lose control. Think about that for a second. The moment your dog falls asleep is the moment it becomes the most vulnerable. No awareness, no defense, no ability to react. So here's the real question. Why would an animal, driven by survival for thousands of years, choose to sleep right next to you? Not in a hidden corner. Not in a protected space. Not somewhere isolated, but next to a human. Today, we're going to break this down from science, psychology, and evolution. And once you understand it, you will never look at your dog the same way again. If you truly love your dog, hit subscribe, because what you're about to learn is not just interesting. It's the closest thing to understanding how your dog actually feels about you. Let's start with something you already know. Almost every dog owner has experienced this. You buy your dog a soft, comfortable bed. You place it in a warm, quiet corner. You give them blankets, space, everything they could possibly need. And what happens? They ignore it. They walk straight past it, jump onto your bed, circle around, and somehow take up more space than you. At first glance, it seems simple. Most people say, they just want warmth, but that explanation doesn't hold up. Because if warmth was the only factor, your dog already had multiple options. And yet, it still chooses you. That's where most people stop thinking. But here's where it gets real. Sleep is not just rest. Sleep is risk. For any animal, the moment a dog falls asleep, it loses awareness of its environment. It cannot detect threats. It cannot defend itself. In the wild, this is the most dangerous state to be in. That's why animals instinctively hide before sleeping. They look for corners, sheltered areas, places where nothing can approach unnoticed. But your dog does something completely different. It leaves those safe, hidden spots and moves closer to you. That is not random behavior. That is a survival decision. Your dog is choosing where it feels safest, at the exact moment it is most vulnerable. And it chooses you. Now let's go deeper into psychology. Because what's happening here is not just instinct. It's attachment. A study from EOTVO's Laurent University applied the same psychological tests used for human infants to dogs, and the results shocked researchers. Dogs form attachment bonds with their owners that are almost identical to the bond between a baby and its mother. Let that sink in. This isn't just companionship. This is a deep psychological connection. In the study, around 61% of dogs showed what scientists call secure attachment. That number is nearly the same as human infants. Which means your dog doesn't just enjoy being around you. It sees you as its safe base, its point of stability, its emotional anchor. Now think about sleep again. The moment of maximum vulnerability. And in that moment, your dog moves closer to you, not away. This behavior is one of the strongest indicators of trust in animal psychology. It is your dog saying, without words, when I cannot protect myself, I trust you to protect me. Now let's take it even further into biology, because this connection is not just emotional, it's chemical. In 2015, a study published in Science revealed something extraordinary. When a dog and its owner make eye contact, both of their brains release oxytocin. Oxytocin is often called the bonding hormone. It is the same chemical released between a mother and her baby. It's also involved in love, trust, and emotional connection. But here's what makes this discovery so powerful. This reaction does not occur between humans and wolves, even when wolves are raised by humans from birth. Which means this isn't just learned behavior. Dogs have evolved to connect with humans. At a biological level, their brains are wired for it. Your brain responds. Their brain responds. At the same time. And it doesn't stop there. When you pet your dog for just 10 minutes, something measurable happens. Cortisol levels drop. Cortisol is the hormone responsible for stress. And this reduction happens in both you and your dog. So what you have is not just companionship. It is a shared physiological regulation system. You calm your dog calms you. This is a two-way biological loop. A feedback system that strengthens over time. Now let's zoom out, way out, back in time, around 15,000 years ago. Long before cities existed, before agriculture, before modern society, dogs were already living alongside humans. And we have physical evidence of this. Archaeologists discovered a grave in Germany, dating back around 14,000 years. Inside that grave were two bodies, a human and a dog, buried together. But what made this discovery truly powerful was the condition of the dog. The dog had suffered from a serious illness and survived long enough to show signs of prolonged care, which means humans didn't just tolerate dogs. They cared for them, protected them, nurtured them, like family. This was not a temporary relationship. This was a bond, and over thousands of years, that bond shaped evolution itself. Dogs began to change, not just behaviorally, but genetically. They developed specific changes in their DNA, particularly on chromosome 6, linked to extreme friendliness and social bonding. In simple terms, dogs are genetically programmed to seek connection with humans, to trust humans, to stay close to humans, and most importantly, to feel safe near humans, even when they sleep. Now here's where things get even more interesting, because everything we've talked about so far explains why your dog chooses you. But what happens after that is something most people never realize. Let's talk about sleep itself. You would think that having a dog in your bed would ruin your sleep. They move, they shift positions, they breathe loudly, they take up space, sometimes they even wake you up. So logically, sleeping with a dog should make your sleep worse. But science says the opposite. A study from the Mayo Clinic tracked the sleep patterns of people who share their room with dogs. And the results were surprising. Even though there were physical disturbances, most participants reported feeling more rested, more relaxed, and more secure. Why? Because of something far more powerful than physical comfort. Psychological safety. When your brain feels safe, it allows itself to fully relax. It reduces hypervigilance, it lowers stress levels, and it enters deeper, more restorative sleep states. So even if your dog moves around, your brain doesn't interpret it as a threat. It interprets it as protection. That feeling of safety outweighs the physical disturbances. But it goes even deeper than that. In 2024, researchers from the University of Jyväskylä discovered something incredible. When dogs and their owners rest together, their heart rate variability, also known as HRV, begins to synchronize. This means their nervous systems start to align, their bodies begin to regulate together. Breathing patterns shift, stress responses stabilize, recovery processes activate. At the same time, this is not just emotional bonding. This is biological synchronization. Two different species, sharing one physiological rhythm. And here's the key detail. This only happens in pairs with a strong emotional bond. So when your dog sleeps next to you, it's not just choosing safety. It's actively connecting with you on a neurological level. Now listen carefully, because this next part is critical. Dogs are creatures of habit. They rely heavily on routine. Their behaviors are consistent, predictable, stable. So when something changes, there's always a reason. If your dog has always slept next to you and suddenly stops, that is not random. That is a signal. The cause might be environmental. Something in their territory has changed. A new person, a new pet, a shift in your daily routine. Dogs are extremely sensitive to even the smallest changes. But sometimes, the reason is more serious. Physical discomfort, pain, illness. What most people don't realize is this. Behavioral changes often appear before visible symptoms. Before limping, before loss of appetite, before obvious signs of sickness. Your dog might stop sleeping next to you because it's trying to cope with discomfort, trying to find a position that reduces pain, trying to deal with something you cannot see yet. And if your dog is older, this becomes even more important. In dogs over the age of 8, changes in sleep patterns can be an early sign of cognitive decline. Similar to dementia in humans, they may become restless, disoriented. They may wander at night, or avoid their usual sleeping spot, including you. So if your dog suddenly changes where it sleeps, do not ignore it. Observe, pay attention, because that small change could be the earliest warning sign you'll ever get. Now let's bring everything together. Your dog sleeping next to you is not a random habit. It's not just comfort. It's not just routine. It is the result of three powerful forces. Thousands of years of evolution, a unique neurochemical bond, and a deep psychological attachment system. Your dog has been shaped over 15,000 years to trust humans, to rely on humans, to feel safe with humans. And in the most vulnerable moment of its existence, sleep, it makes a choice, not based on logic, not based on comfort alone, but based on trust. It chooses you. And here's the part most people never think about. That connection is not one-sided. Science shows that this bond regulates your nervous system, reduces your stress, improves your emotional stability, and even enhances your sleep quality. Your dog feels safer with you. And you become calmer because of your dog. It's mutual, it's real, and it's happening every single night, without you even realizing it. So tonight, when your dog jumps onto your bed, spins around, and curls up next to you, don't push it away immediately. Pause for a second, and understand what's really happening. In that moment, your dog is saying, in this entire world, with all its uncertainty, you are the place where I feel safe enough to close my eyes. If this changed the way you see your dog, hit subscribe, because most people will go their entire lives without ever understanding this level of connection. But now you do, and tonight, you'll feel it.